Good morning, Bravehearts. Good afternoon and good evening all around the world. I'm Dr. Darrell Wolf. This is DocStar TV. And guess what? We have the pleasure to have Terry on again. Today we're going to be talking about infinite iodine, not just iodine, but we will be talking about what other iodines do in the relationship compared to infinite iodine for pregnancy and for children. Understand this. You want to talk about a missing link? Okay, don't take iodine while you're pregnant, and don't give your children the proper iodine every day. And there's enough science to choke a horse. If you want to go to PubMed or you want to go to any third-party research about what iodine does for us, and you're going to find out why it's been held back from us and why we need it. And understand something, it truly is the missing link if you want a pregnancy and the birth of a really healthy child. And we're going to be talking about that today with Terry. Right, Terry?
Yes, we are. Yeah, where would you like to start, Darrell?
I'm going to let you run with it, and then the odd time I'll opt in, but let's just let the professional specialist do what he does best. And understand something, everyone. This is not a show you want to miss. And get your pen and paper out, okay? And just know that every show that I do, if you miss it, you can get it on Telegram. Download Telegram. It's totally private. And if you go to Doc of Detox on Telegram, all right, you'll see every show and every meme that we do on all the other platforms there for you. You just need to just go and feast it. All right? Thank you, Terry.
Okay. We've done a few shows, Darrell. I think a fun place for us to start today.
Oh, and if I can say one thing, if
Yes.
you want all of Terry's shows, you go into the library and you go into the Infinite Iodine Guide, and you'll see all the different subjects we talk about. Okay? That's it, Terry. Thank you.
Okay. Let me start with the very basics. We've all heard of iodine. We've heard of iodide to some degree for iodized table salt. There's been a few misnomers of what is what in the iodine forms and how they're being presented and what they actually do. So what we can review today is specifically that and how important it is. And a good place to start is that there's 118 or so elements on the earth. That creates everything that you see, you hear, everything around you is based on those 118 elements. When you look at a human, 25 of those elements have to be in you or you're not alive. So those are the crucial elements that we need in our body. And of those 25, one of them is iodine. And it was added to table salt when we started to do the science, and there's been science with molecular iodine and iodide now for 200 years. So based on that, let's get a little more focused with regards to what it does and how important it is. Because when women are pregnant, essentially they realize when they go in to see the doctor says, here's a prenatal pill. Now, half of the prenatal pills have iodide in them, and apparently the other half do not. I'm not sure why, but you have your choice. You can either buy something that has iodide or something that doesn't.
Oh, wait. But why would they even do that? That doesn't even make any sense. That doesn't make any sense because iodine is not something that a pregnant woman doesn't need or she does need.
Right. So now let's talk about our requirements from a micronutrient perspective of this element. So on a day-to-day basis, a woman needs 150 micrograms to run her thyroid, and we can get into, that discussion in a few minutes as well. But that's what she needs on a day-to-day basis. When she gets pregnant, essentially there's a thermostat in her body that starts to turn up for iodide usage.
There it is.
It's usage. What happens is if she's fine at 150 micrograms a day, when she gets pregnant, the 150 micrograms is no longer enough to satisfy her needs and a developing child, period. So therefore, the dietary increase goes up to 220 micrograms a day. That's a 50% increase of this element she has to have in her body. Otherwise, that infant is not going to be produced to 100%.
Why is this not in schools? Because you know as well as I know, the reality is this is really dangerous if a woman doesn't have this. It's absolutely dangerous. And I know it, so I know. Why isn't it given to everyone? It's like, read this now.
a good place, let's step back, and a good place that we've discussed in a couple of earlier shows together is understanding the difference between iodine, molecular iodine, and iodide.
Okay, all right.
Three of them are critical for us as humans. There's the forms. When we say iodine is a crucial element within our bodies, it will transform into different forms of iodine. There's the three: atomic iodine in its purest form, molecular iodine, and iodide. So, why is it important? Well, let's talk about from a nature's perspective. If you eat a piece of fish from the ocean that is enriched with iodide, be it haddock or cod, okay, for example, iodide then goes into the woman's stomach. Then the stomach will process a certain amount into molecular iodine. That is finest antiviral, easiest way to put it. We can get into that discussion, but that is the disinfectant form of iodine.
And every pregnant mother wants the most powerful antiviral on the planet without any toxic value.
So what happens is we now have molecular iodine, and we have iodide running through a woman's system.
Okay.
It passes by her thyroid. The thyroid is going to extract only the iodide. It allows the molecular iodine to go by. That's not its job to interfere with molecular iodine. It has its own function into atomic iodine. That atomic iodine has a specific function. It goes on to the T3, T4 hormones. Now we're talking something critical for pregnant women here. So we have three different forms of iodine running through their blood. You have atomic iodine attached to the T3, T4s. The 3 and the 4 are actually atomic iodine molecules. 3 on one, 4 on the other.
Right.
Now, we have molecular iodine in the bloodstream, and we also have iodide in the bloodstream. They're all on its way to a new cell. Mm-hmm. Okay? When a new cell is created, let's say a new cell is being born. They're alive. They're being born. Okay? So a new cell is born. It is critical for the T3 to go into the nucleus. Call it the brain of the cell, but it's the nucleus of the cell. And it'll actually direct and control the function and the life of that cell and what it needs to do as a cell.
And so what if I don't have it?
Well, then you end up with a rogue cell. That's number one.
Okay.
Correct. So here's the second thing, is you have to have molecular iodine in there. It has two functions. One is protecting the cell. That's its job as molecular iodine. And apoptosis, molecular iodine, is actually what kills the cell. Iodide is in there for the nutrition of the cell.
So the iodine gets rid of the cell before it ever becomes rogue, and like that's not important, right? Okay, good.
So now that you understand the elemental trinity of the three different forms of iodine that need to every cell of our bodies, it's there right now in all of us. That's what's going on.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
So babies are born from a cell, the biggest cell, but it's a cell. What do you think is required in a cell? We've just been through this. You have to have the elemental trinity for that cell. So
can I just?
Yes.
So you may not want to establish it because everything about you is science, but the reality is there comes the baby, no loving in the oven. Otherwise, it doesn't have the right elements to actually create a healthy child, and that's where we get into the dysfunction and the diseases and missing things. It doesn't get put together properly.
I'll try and help you. What happens is, as we talked about earlier, a woman's system actually starts to increase when that baby is in her body. All right.
Well, yeah, she needs more energy. She needs more metabolism. We're bringing in a spirit.
So here's what the increase is doing. What happens is a baby starting as a single cell. When a baby's born, there are 20 billion cells. How do you produce 20 billion cells if you don't have the fundamental building blocks to do it correctly?
I get it.
If there's an insufficiency, IQ is lowered, skeletal structure has an issue, nervous system has an issue. What are the results of those things? Well, take a look at some children today that have a hard time focusing, ADT. There's all kinds of health issues going on because mom didn't know she needed a crucial element in her body to produce a baby.
Yeah.
Very simple. Now, the other interesting thing is that your body, we're part of nature, and the fact is, if there's not the fundamental building block, women have a difficult time getting pregnant. That's another one. So your body's not going to produce a baby unless mom has the right elements within her, so that baby has an opportunity to be born perfect.
So guess what? Don't force it. Don't force it because you won't. Yeah, don't force it because you're not going to like the end product.
Well, that's just how nature works. So we have to supply the fundamental necessities that our body needs to be healthy, number one.
Right.
Number two, produce a baby. So once the baby's born, then what? Well, a woman's breast milk goes up almost 100% now to feed the baby. Well, one of the things she's feeding to the baby are the T3, T4 hormones, and we have molecular iodine and iodide all going into the baby so that it can continue to grow as a human.
Yes.
And grow, develop their brain, develop their IQ, and have the least amount of health issues.
Yes, sir.
When a baby's born, it's critical that they get all of the nutrients they need. But for some reason, this is almost like the forgotten element or micronutrient. And if it is missing in this diet of a child, they end up having health issues right away. And, on the basics, you're talking about a weaker immune system, a slower metabolism because it's not operating correctly. And, based on the food that we eat, look at the issues we're having with obesity and diabetes.
Yes.
For example, even in children.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit shocking, but we either talk about it, do something about it, or it's going to have an incredibly negative impact on us as humans.
Well, diabetes is the main formula for extinction on this planet. And if I can say one more thing, and then I'll let you get back to the real science, because this is just how I am. And the reality is your government has never worked for you, and your government controls the medical system, and your government works for these same people that created the last 3 years. Everybody needs to wake up to the fact that, the hero you're looking for has got to be you. Okay, please go ahead.
So, you know how important this is in your diet every day.
Yeah.
Let me speak 2 minutes of molecular iodine versus iodide as a product that we spray in our mouth every day. All right?
Yes.
So, we know that we have to have iodide within our systems. Women have to have it in order for themselves to be healthy. Let me just remind me to talk about fibroids when I finish on this one for women.
And also I have somebody, why do we promote infinite iodine so much? And why is Nascent and Lugol's iodine, why do we believe that is toxic? Well, because it is toxic. But I'll let, when you get to a point, if you can answer that question for this person. Yeah. And also, yes, the Black Friday sale does honor the infinite iodine as well. It's in the package as well if people want. Thank you.
So let me just explain the different forms. One being molecular iodine, which is a antibacterial, antiviral. That is what it does from nature. That's what it's intended to do. Iodide doesn't kill anything. It's strictly a micronutrient. Now,
yes.
The interesting thing with molecular iodine, whether you spray it on a surface, whether you spray molecular iodine in the air, on your top of your body, or at the back of your throat, molecular iodine kills things. That's what it does. So when you spray molecular iodine, you're going to kill bacteria, kill viruses, but it leaves them intact. If it's on a surface or somewhere else, it doesn't matter. But if it's on the back of if they're on the back of your throat,
want to create more toxicity. So the infinite negative part of the microbe that is, we'll call it somewhat dangerous to the body, so it actually kind of like shuts it down, but doesn't cause any more problems for the body.
Well, as far as bacteria goes, molecular iodine kills it dead. Bacteria are alive, and it leaves the materials intact so that your body's defense systems can recognize it. The interesting thing is a virus is not alive, all right? But what it does do is it deactivates the virus so that it cannot reactivate. It's essentially, in our terms, dead. But it leaves the components of the virus intact.
Okay.
So once our body can recognize it.
So, and I just have to do this again because that's just my personality. And you did hear that, everyone. Bacteria is alive, but a virus isn't, so it can't jump 1 inch or 6 feet. Go ahead.
Okay. So, in that process, naturally, this is just nature working. like I said, whether it's in the air or surface in our bodies, this is how it works. When molecular iodine is something, it expends energy, and in that expending of energy to get the job done, it turns into a pure iodide.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
got it.
So, now at the back of your throat, whether or not you've sprayed molecular iodine or iodide at the back of your throat, when you swallow, it enters into your stomach. It's the exact same form, because the conversion from molecular iodine over to iodide is almost instantaneous. All right? And then it converts naturally to an iodide.
Right.
Once in our stomach, we talked about a small amounts converted back to molecular iodine inside our body from iodide. All right?
Yeah.
Iodine go in.
A pinball of healing, back and forth. Pinball of healing. Boom, boom, boom.
Our bodies have the capability to be able to use this element naturally and convert it into different forms within our body where it's required and when it's needed most. Simplest way to put it. So those are the forms. You have a nutrient, you have nature's finest antiviral and antibacterial, and you have atomic iodine in a single form in its purest way that I know is the only place it's produced on Earth is in our thyroid.
So what somebody's asking, if I can say this, no, our iodine has no toxicity. Infinite iodine has no toxicity. No. You can blow your thyroid out with Lugos or with Nascent, and trust me, or have considerable weight loss too fast. But you're not going to have that. We've got stage 4 breast cancer patients of iodine every day and applying it onto their condition and even nebulizing it as well. So understand, we got to come from all directions, okay, to use nature's strongest disinfector. Go ahead.
Okay, so the products were designed. This is 21st century iodine technology, and when I say that, there's only a handful of iodine technologies that have been developed in 200 years. That's it. And you can go to the store and buy all of them today. But it's 200-year-old technology. Each of them was designed for a specific purpose. When you talk about Lugol's, Dr. Lugol's created that product to treat tuberculosis, to cure tuberculosis. It was very high dosing. You had to be followed by the doctor. You had to be. But the interesting thing is that Lugol's during his time was ridiculed by the medical community because he was starting to see the association between iodine and our thyroid and goiter at the time because it was running rampant. So it took 50 years for the medical community to do their science work to come out and say we need to put iodide on table salt, for example. So from that perspective, the technology we have today is the only microdosing technology because we designed and formulated. There is no other iodine technology that's designed to do that. That was not its intent. They're all very high dosing to either high dose as a disinfectant or it's very high dosing in order to kill something in our body. But you've got to be followed by the medical industry. And when you look at today's technology versus old ones, we really don't need the plastics, the chemicals, and the other things that are in some of those older technologies. We can't adjust them.
And that's it. People don't even understand that there's plastics inside of the other iodine technologies.
Yes, so the bottom line is that when each of these technologies were developed and designed in their time, they were wonderful for the job they were meant to do. Okay, povidone iodine, betadine was meant to disinfect floors, is where it started. And then you put it on the human body and the doctors washed their hands with it. It changed the hospital world in the 1950s. Every time a new iodine technology has come to market in the last 200 years, it's been a game changer for human health.
This beautiful lady, listen, don't worry if you can't get the show on Facebook or you can't find it on TikTok or Instagram. All my shows, all my memes, everything goes on Telegram at docofdetox.com. You'll never miss a thing. They're there the following day, everybody. Thank you. Go ahead.
So the point that I was just sort of wrapping up, Daryl, was that iodine technology that has been developed for an intended purpose has been a game changer for humankind across the board. And we only have a small handful of them that we know about as far as, you know, what we hear every day.
Right.
Nobody knows that you need iodine to make a rubber tire. We'd have no cars without iodine in the chemical formula. So those are whole other industries.
So from rubber tires to babies, I get it.
So it's an incredible element. So the thing is, from a human's perspective, We have to have it every day. We're part of nature. This is something I can't say more than we do, but they do, because they're growing new cells every day until they become adults, and they produce them at a massive rate, by comparing to a grown adult. So from that perspective, this show is about that. And from a child's perspective, every mom, here's in a lecture I had given, Daryl, you might not like this one, but I'm going to say it anyway, because in a lecture I had given, women with health knowledge change the future of the human race. And they have since the beginning of time. What women know and they put in their body determines the IQ, the health, and the future of that child, and how long it's going to live. How long that child's going to live is up to mom, and she doesn't even know it. So if she does, then that child is born as close to perfect as it can possibly be.
Well, it's called loving in the oven, and mommy's in charge of the oven.
Yes. Now, with that said, Daryl, the product that you have, we now understand whether it's molecular iodine or molecular iodine being sprayed at the back of your throat. Mom needs either one, because they both turn into they're both the same by the time it hits her stomach. All right. As far as kids go, we have a new product coming out that you're going to be introducing that is actually infinite iodine for kids between ages of 1 to 12 years old.
And just in time for flu season, which is actually, there is no flu season. There's only sugar season, okay, that turns into flu season. So that's it. Go ahead.
One other point that I wanted to mention just about dosing, to wrap up that sort of discussion about different technology. The technology that is inside infinite iodine and infinite iodide was developed specifically for us to take in as a human, to ingest it, and it's approved around the world by all of the governments. Exactly what's in that bottle for us to take every day for the rest of our lives to be healthy.
Yes.
So with that, the product that you have right now, it's 3 sprays in the mouth for kids. Please start doing it if you haven't already. It's critical for them to have this. All right. So as the kids' product come out, the only difference is that for adults, our product is 5 sprays and we're good. If you have cold and flus, you and I discussed, the Verone protocol with regards to going to 15 sprays in order to address that. But
and nebulize. You want to nebulize the infinite iodine, 1 part iodine to 3 parts distilled water. If you have a structure unit, run it through. And once your lungs starting to say, well, I got this, I can accept this, and you're not choking on a diluted product, you can actually use the infinite iodine straight. I use it straight. And understand something. If you were to get nebulizing, okay, and make that your next, wait till you see how you restore lungs all the way up to stage 4 inflammation. And you know what that is, everyone, stage 4 inflammation? Well, understand what you can do. And it gets into your lungs, it gets into your blood, it gets into your sinus, it gets into your brain. Okay, so think about that. Go ahead, my friend.
So the point that I was making is that we have a simple spray that we spray in the back of our throat. People can repurpose products once they own them, and they can do what they want with them. And there's an incredible amount of science that has been done over 200 years that you can Google it. Very simple. Iodine something. And the work is extraordinary by the National Library of Medicine. This is world-renowned medical scientists that have worked at this for 200 years and continue to do so today. And we're learning more and more every day. But what we're talking about now is knowledge for women that goes back more than 120 years. And it's our jobs to be able to, if they don't already know this, to question their doctors and say, this is what's required. Because oddly enough, somebody in my own family, with my grandson, the doctor was saying, we don't give supplements to kids under 5 years old. Well, if you're expecting their normal nutritional diet to cover all of their needs based on the food we give ourselves today and our children, it's not there. It's just not there.
And if I can say something right now, everyone, you ladies, okay, this is really important. Go into my guide, the 6-day advanced water fasting guide or the do-it-yourself guide, and look and read about vaginal infusion. Putting infinite iodine alone into the vaginal canal is one of the most historical things that you can do to help to heal your pelvis with infertility problems, ovarian problems, endometriosis. All of these things can be helped. Bringing down pain, bringing down inflammation, bringing down swelling. And it's so easy and simple to do. And you can also, for your kids or yourself, you can put the infinite iodine in the ears for ear infection, okay? And for you adults, I wouldn't maybe do the infinite iodine in children's eyes. I would be using our Bright Eyes Fulvic or our Silver Bullet liquid. But for you adults, you put the infinite iodine in your eyes. It'll sting a little bit. Just close your eyes. You want to disinfect your eyes? I can tell you stories with people that have had all the way up to eye cancer, okay? Cancers of the eye, okay? Glaucoma, cataracts, and the things that we've seen. You need to take massive personal action here. We're talking about non-toxic products. Go ahead, my friend.
Like, here's the interesting thing. When you take a look at eye surgeons, before they do eye surgery, because you were mentioning that,
yes,
they use betadine right now. And they swab it all over your eye as the last thing they do before they start to operate. So they use all the other disinfectants, and then they ask you the question, is it okay if we use iodine? Because we're going to swab it all over you. And of course, this is, our eye sockets actually carry a large quantity of iodine and iodide right now. It's something that's natural. So from that perspective, I hope people understand right now, based on this show, how important it is for mom to have sufficient iodine in her system. But don't think, oh, I'm going to get pregnant, I need to start taking iodine. If you are pregnant or you find out, whatever it is, how many days later or how many weeks later that you're pregnant, the baby's already less than perfect. Because if you don't have enough of it in your system, the baby can't grow properly from day one. And the baby's only there for a short period of time.
This is not a scare tactic, women, men. This is not a scare tactic, so you better get that. Go do your own research, do your own science, go to PubMed, and then, find out from scientific studies all over the world. There's only thousands of them, okay?
In fact, you mentioned thousands, Daryl. There's actually a very good article called The First 1,000 Days of Life for a Child. The first 1,000 days and how critical iodine is for that child. It's all there. This isn't new news. All we're doing is we're supplying an easier way to deliver a pure element. It's not attached to any other carrier molecules. It's not attached to anything. So there's a difference between bioavailability. Somebody saying, oh, I've got, 96 or 100% bioavailability. But does your system use it is another question. Okay? And I've seen interesting studies that relate around that. So when we talk about molecular iodine and iodide in their purest form, it's not only bioavailable, your system needs it and uses it immediately. Very simple. And as far as people say, can you get too much? Well, if you get too much, your body's actually going to, discrete it, it gets ejected every day. It's not a problem. But if you don't have enough...
Oh, well, you're talking about our iodine. You can get too much of the other ones, everyone, so I want to make that really clear. And I'm not trying to just hurrah ours, but that's just the truth of it.
No, because the extension of dosing that was to treat diseases and major problems for certain things, but on a day-to-day basis. We're made to take in a certain amount. Our body will excrete a little more that we've taken in because we're meant to come from nature, not taking unnatural things into our body that humans have created to say, here's a high dosing something. Well, we're taking it in at nature's level, and each dose is only 30 micrograms in that spray. So you have to have a minimum of 5 sprays to get your 150, and when you're pregnant, you need obviously more sprays to get to 220 or 280.
Okay.
Now,
can I say something?
Is this product that's been created. Because kids are so social and so active, if we created a spray for kids that'll give them 110 micrograms and said, here's 5 sprays in the morning, well, all of a sudden they're little bacteria and virus factories all day long because of the environment that they play in, that they live in, and then they bring it back in the house. That product we've allowed to be formulated so that kids could use 15 to 20 sprays to get up to 110 micrograms. That's it. But they get to use it all day long, and as molecular iodine, it does natural things at the back of their throats during cold and flu season.
And if I can say something, everyone, get this. So guess what? Jimmy, you have to take your puffer, and guess what? And you have to take it this many times during the day. So now you can give them a nature's puffer, okay? And they will be trained to do that just like anything else. And when they do, and they don't start getting the flus and the colds and feeling sick, and when their actual intelligent level is higher and you see their metabolism working better, you're going to know that what we told you is absolutely true. Now, 2 things. There's a couple people already asked this. What's the difference between infinite iodide And the other person here is asking, yes, the Black Friday sale is not on just this week. It runs out a week from tomorrow, which is Friday. There, I'm done. Go ahead, Terry.
Okay. Here's a fun way to wrap this one up, Daryl. When we present the science for a specific purpose,
Yeah.
all of the other science that's been done with it, if you want to call those side effects, for example, okay? So if you want to have children and you want them to be healthy and you're going, I want this product, well, one of the side effects just may be you get fewer colds and flus, you have a stronger immune system, your metabolism is going to run far better, you're going to absorb the nutrients you take in and turn them into energy, and everybody is going to have a better life together from a health perspective.
No hypothyroid, no hyperthyroid, okay? No goiter. How about that? That's a nice side effect.
So, yes, so that's what I'm saying. So it's like everybody wants to use, once they find out information for something that's very important to them, okay? But that specific issue that's very important to you is critical, but all of the other benefits that you get from this element are extraordinary inside your body. And those are just natural things that come. So when people start to use the product and they're going, hey, I've had less colds and flus, and by the way, I've lost a few pounds, okay? Less brain fog, a little more energy, things like that. So we don't want to say that this is the be-all and the end-all, but it's a fundamental building block inside our body, okay? It cannot be replaced by anything else. We do produce a synthetic hormone for women that have got thyroid problems, a little bit of an overprescribed drug right now because it only replaces one of the forms of iodine required in a cell. It doesn't do anything for the molecular iodine. It doesn't do anything for the iodide. So
mad science. It's called mad science.
So it's just, like I said, the science is out there, and it's extraordinary. Please take a few minutes to educate yourself. And like I say, women with health knowledge change the future of the human race, period. So for the next century coming, molecular iodine and iodide in a pure form is going to be sold everywhere in 100 years from now, like it's starting to be now. It's going around the world, what we're doing, because this is 21st century iodine technology. I can't sort of express that anymore other than it's the first one that's safe to ingest. It's supported medical doctors around the world for colds and flus. As the dietary supplement, they just go, well, that's a no-brainer. We know that. The problem is the rest of us don't. Okay, so this is what we're doing, Daryl, and I applaud you for being out there on the forefront and saying, we need to talk about this element.
We do.
We have it in the purest form. And people are going to be able to repurpose it however they would like. And if they want to spray it on their flowers because it helps their flowers grow better, well, plants need iodine too. That's a whole other topic. I spent a decade in agriculture. So from that perspective, the planet needs it. Humans need it. Our babies need it. We want the next generation to be smarter, healthier, and live longer than we do. Mm-hmm. And if we can do this with a simple element, keep doing what you're doing, and just add this into the program. It's simple to do. That's it.
Yes, I'm being asked right now by somebody, what about, they said, do pets need it?
Yes. Here's the funny thing.
Can we do a pet show? Would you like to do a pet show with me?
We can do that, certainly.
Okay.
We can do that because there's been, I have pet stories, okay? It's coming from naturopaths and their patients that have had problems with their pets that molecular iodine works incredibly well for pets. I have funny little videos where, mom's spraying something in her mouth, and the dog comes running over, sits down, opens up its mouth, and she's spraying it in the dog's mouth. But something to know, mammals all need iodine. Molecular iodine, iodide, we all need it as mammals. Plants need it. So the fact is, as far as dogs, cats, things like that, 100%.
How much would I give my dog if my dog weighed 10 pounds or if my dog weighed 50 pounds? Just as a...
To give you an idea, you would have to do it with iodide, number one.
Iodide, not iodine, iodide.
Yeah. You have to do it with iodide.
And I need you to answer the iodide question. We've just had it 3 times here. What's the difference? And why would I take...
Molecular iodine kills things. That's what it does. Molecular iodine is very volatile. If it's in a solution, it would rather be gassed off into the air. Molecular iodine is produced from iodide.
Okay.
iodide doesn't kill anything. It's a micronutrient.
Yeah.
Molecular kills something and then turns into iodide, the micronutrient, and this cycles back and forth where needed in our bodies. But out on on an experiment, you kill something in a lab dish, molecular iodine turns into iodide. It doesn't kill anymore. That's it.
I get it.
Okay? So that is the difference between the two of them. Now, if you put molecular iodine into your dog's drinking water, it's going to gas off out of that water in minutes. It's gone. All right? So you can put iodide into the drinking water for the dog, and the dog will actually take it up in its whole system, just like a human will use it. Now, this is an odd statement to make, but and I don't know which ones they are, I've never really looked, but there's dog foods that have more iodide in it than human food does. Okay? So I find that extraordinary, but there's certain dog foods that do, and they add it in there for a specific reason, to keep the dogs healthier. So the interesting thing about having an enriched diet with iodide in their drinking water is that you're going to find that their coat becomes shinier very quickly. In less than 30 days, all of a sudden you look at your dog and you go, wow. Okay? The other thing is your dog may have a little more energy. There's no doubt, because that's something that it does. Dogs have metabolism similar to ours, for example. So from that perspective, we don't have an animal product yet, but for cuts and scrapes, for example, on pets, use a little dauber, because they don't like to be sprayed. Okay, you can't spray something in your dog's face; it's going to run away, or your pet's face. Use a little dauber, use a cotton pad, put some iodine on it, and then just specifically pat the area, and it's 100% natural. You'll find that it's going to heal very, very quickly.
Can you answer about the iodine and iodide for humans? Okay, just a little bit more.
Sure. We need to ingest iodide into our stomach every day as a human. Once it gets into our stomach will process a small amount of that. 2% of our stomach acid, half of 1% of stomach acid is hydrochloric. That's the only acid that we use to digest our food. Amongst all the other acids, only 0.5%. So if you eat, a big meal, and then you take iodide, you're not going to have any of it converted over to molecular iodine to go into your system, because there's no hydrochloric acid left to do the job. So if you want molecular iodine to be running in your system, knowing what it is, you're going to want to do it on an empty stomach. So therefore, the hydrochloric does the conversion naturally in your stomach.
Right.
That's it. Now you got nature's finest antiviral running through your bloodstream. If there's things in your bloodstream that shouldn't be there, any invaders, molecular iodine is going to kill it in the bloodstream. It'll kill it inside a cell. It'll kill it anywhere. This is what molecular iodine does. But if it kills it in the bloodstream, it converts back to an iodide. Goes past your thyroid turns it back into atomic iodine for the hormones. So this is truly an essential elements we have to have in our bodies. That's a fact.
What if I just bought the iodine? I'm still good for disinfecting and getting iodide, because it does get converted to my thyroid, correct?
Correct. We actually use the bacteria and the viruses naturally at the back of your throat to convert it to iodide.
Boom. Okay.
That's what iodine
Great.
does.
So
Okay.
people that are on thyroid medication, they can work with their doctor, or they can introduce this even with the thyroid medication and see a gradual change until they feel...
they can reduce the synthetics.
That's right. They can get rid of their synthetics eventually. It's just a drug, everyone. We're going back to natural here.
So, I think we're pretty good with regards to...
We're good. We're good, Terry.
Pregnancy, women, for the future of humankind, what you now know is critical. So, make sure that your children, your grandchildren, your friends all know this. This is how important this is. And to take it in its purest form is always the very best way. And for the only time, this is the only time in 200 years of history that we can do this in a pure form commercially. Because understand, chemists and scientists have been able to make small batches of molecular iodine in laboratories to do some work, but they couldn't control it, and it was so volatile. When the work was completed, that was it. We can't do anymore. This is the first time it's been able to be produced commercially. I was speaking to a pharmacist in Europe yesterday, and she's a high-end master chemist, and she's going, there's no way that you can make this. I said, Here it is. Okay. So from a chemistry perspective, the books say that you cannot dissolve iodine in water. We've done it. And
Boom.
there's no other additives.
That's infinite iodine, guys. And infinite iodine, we've done it. And understand something. People are asking here, where do you get it? Go to store.doc, DOCOF, That's store.docofdetox.com. Yes, we just got asked again. The Black Friday sale is going to be on for another week. So I think what is it tomorrow? What's the date tomorrow? Do you know? 17th or something? Well, let's say tomorrow was the 17th and it was Friday. So that means the sale will be going on until next week, which would be probably around the 24th. I might be a little off, but yeah. Go ahead, Terry.
It's perfect time for family gatherings.
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, it's the biggest holiday in America. People are going to be traveling. It's the ultimate travel product to help keep you safe while you're traveling. Okay, so you have to look at it from all of these different perspectives in order to make sure that you're going to be healthy. And this is the social season coming up. And the thing about the cold and flu season, it's right in the middle of Thanksgiving and Christmas, for example, when we all gather as humans around the world to rejoice. And we've got these nasty little microbes hanging out that we go home with. Okay, so the idea is to actually step into health and not have to worry about the microbial world. Our bodies can take care of it. They really can, but you've got to give them the ammunition to do it.
Yeah.
And this is the elements that makes all of that happen. From old people to little babies. We're all humans. We need it. So when you're sitting around the family table at Thanksgiving, talk to your family that has never heard about this and say, this is something brand new. And they're going to go, why haven't we heard it before? And I can only apologize that I didn't invent it sooner. But this is brand new technology. So it's not like, it's out there, but nobody's heard of it. This is new.
Thank you, Terry.
Okay?
So we're going to be back. We'll be back on with Terry the next show.
Holiday, stay healthy, and keep your family that way. I'll wrap it up on that.
The next show we'll be doing with Terry is what was it again, Terry? The next one?
I think we're going to be talking about the metabolic energy.
Metabolic energy and also balanced weight. How to get why our product Infinite Iodine and Infinite Iodine help you create metabolic energy and help to balance your weight. There it is. Thank you, Terry.
Have yourself a great day.
You too, my friend. Take care. I appreciate you.
Myself as well. Thanks, Daryl.
Bye now. So I'd like to add a little bit of something here. I don't have his knowledge, just know that. I'm not going to pretend to either. I truly am not going to pretend to. And the reality is this. I just want to tell you something. You don't get infected. You create infection. And understand this. Everybody likes a good time, but understand that everything has been orchestrated and strategized to have the majority of the population infected so they get the cold and the flu so that we can do another BS story, okay, like we went through for 3 years. And that's the truth. Don't care if you believe me. I really don't. I love you anyway, but don't care if you believe me. Because if you don't want to believe me, you can go ahead, and fear in itself is going to create more negative microorganisms in your body, because the invisible creates the physical, the psychological rules the biological. And understand this, that if you are taking the Infinite Iodine, okay, we know that that's going to disinfect. And understand something, if you listen to Terry, you would understand this. He said, yes, it will kill a bacteria and the body will then dispose of the bacteria. But he said that guess what? What it will do is just dismantle and disarm a virus. That's all it can do, because a virus isn't alive. So I want to just say something and take maybe 5 to 10 minutes here. And this is really important. Well, it is to me. It may not be to you, because you may just go, you're full of it, Dr. Wolf. And yes, a lot of people do believe I am. And the reality is that we know that the virus, there's no such thing as a live virus, so it can't jump and it can't walk and it can't talk. The reality is that the more that you have viruses in your body, they are actually fragments of you self-poisoning. Okay, so we start off with Halloween and we go and get our kids 5 pounds to maybe 10 pounds of candy from all of the other adults that are adulterated, that are poisoning children all over the world. And then what happens is that rots the teeth out of the children. So then they get to have the mercury put in, which they call silver fillings, the Dental Association, which is run by the Rothschilds and Rockefellers. So now the mercury is going to go in and deaden the pineal gland, which gives higher thinking, higher learning. Okay, so now we've dumbed that person down for probably a lifetime. But the reality is we're going to go from Halloween, then we're going to go to Thanksgiving, where we all go and do the dessert thing, and we overeat. We don't combine properly. We don't digest our food. We get stressed out because we never liked Uncle Harry, and he's coming to Thanksgiving. So we stress out that way, so adrenaline, cortisol, and we make ourselves more acidic. And the more acidic an environment is, the more microbes that you create inside your body. Whether you want to believe this or not, 99% of all the parasites that people have were actually created inside their body. They weren't taken in through orally. So let's make that really clear. So the reality is that now we're going to go from Halloween and we're going to go to Thanksgiving, and we're just going to blow ourselves up. We're going to drink more, eat more, and wrong things too, because that's what we do. Whenever we celebrate, we poison each other. That's so cool. It's all programming. And then we're going to go to Christmas, and then we're going to do the whole thing again, but we're even going to hit it harder because we're getting real good at this. And then what we're going to do is we're going to top the sucker off and blow our heads off at New Year's, right? Because we're going to celebrate the end of a year and the beginning of a new one. And I'm not buying into any of this BS, okay? Because I live in the present moment, and the reality is I am going to celebrate every moment that I'm alive, because I am connected to my source creator. And as far as I'm concerned, that's a hell of a celebration that I'll do at every given moment. Now, here we go. Just know this, that your bacteria and your fungus and your worms will never ever touch a virus, because viruses are mainly man-made. They're heavy metals and they're chemicals. And those so-called parasites that you have, they are not even going to come near this stuff, because they know that if they eat it, they will be dead. Now, how's that for intelligence? And we don't even have that. So the reality is the only way to get rid of a virus is to have a runny nose or runny ears or runny vagina or a runny bowel or coughing up or having a fever, trying to boil things off in your blood. And people don't even know about this. You get a fever this year. Why don't you get out a coffee enema? I mean, get out an enema bucket. You don't have to do an ultimate coffee enema, but get yourself warm water and get yourself just some black diamond or humic fulvic that we sell, or some tummy love, and put that in and do a warm water enema, and then get rid of the fever within 5 to 15 minutes of doing a warm water enema. Because get the cork out of your butt. You've been backing up the waste, because you know what you did? You poisoned yourself like everybody else, and you overate, you didn't eat properly, you didn't food combine, you didn't drink enough water, but you damn well took enough alcohol in, so the sugar just blew you up. And understand something, okay? So don't be on top of your kids right now from Halloween to all the way through to the new year and be complaining when you're putting tons of sugar in them, because there's no such thing as ADD. There's only such thing as a sugar junkie. There's no such thing as adult onset diabetes. There's just thing as a sugar junkie. And there's no such thing as dementia, because dementia is a pre-diabetic person, and we know that was a sugar junkie. So we're being poisoned on all levels. And so understand this: viruses don't jump and they can't dance, okay? And the reality is that they might even make you poo your pants, because that's the only way. We've got to eliminate this waste, and that's the God's truth. So the reality is that the majority of the population is ignorant of this, and they're not going to wake up to this probably, because guess what? You give up television, you give up radio, and you go and you spend massive personal action onto yourself to find your authentic self, to find your passion and purpose in life. None of this even matters anymore. And that's the God's truth. Anyways, yes, somebody's asking again. I need help with hot, cold sensation through my body, attacking on a couple times a day through menopause. First of all, I'm just going to say something, okay? I will do a discussion. Let me think here. I'm flying on Saturday. So if I get enough time in the airport, I will do a discussion on painful periods and menopause, and I will get rid of all the BS on that. I will. I'm not a woman, but I've been in the business for 45 years, and I will tell you there's so much BS. The first thing is this. It's all about the large intestine. Get the cork out of your butt. Start draining out the waste. I will go through it step by step, and I promise you I will do it. If I don't do it Saturday when I'm flying, I'll do it Sunday, and I'll do it on the beach, okay? And on Sunday, I'm going to show you how to do a sand scrub in Ixtapa, Mexico, because that's where I live in the United States and I live in Mexico, and I'm going back there right now. And I'm going to be doing my first New World Practitioner course on January the 8th. Would love to see you. We are in the most beautiful resort in Mexico. It's a 4-diamond, not a 4-star. You should see this place. Watch the videos. If you watch Facebook or the other platforms, you'll see the information there. But we'll be teaching there. And you know what? The rooms there, like, they range from $350 to $600 a night, but you can stay down the road for $45, okay? All right, and then you can come and you can partake and then utilize this resort. I mean, you can utilize their pools, their sauna, their meditation area. You can get on this swing and swing out into the waves, okay? Look at, come play and stay. And you're gonna find, you know, sometimes you're gonna go, oh, he's pretty tough on here. You'll find out that I'm just a very loving, caring, unconditional, love human being. That's all I am. When I get on here, I roar because somebody bops on, they've never been there before, and they go, whoa, wake up call. Wow, I don't know if I like it, but maybe I do. And then other people go, wow, I don't like him at all. Well, but they're not ready to have their coconut crack from the inside out, and they're not ready to move forward, are they? Okay, so I get it. Yes, we do have, I'm going to say it one more time, but that's it. Yes, the Black Friday sale's on until next Friday. And I will be doing, yes, I'll tell you where, okay, go to braveheartnation.com. You'll have all of my courses, trainings, everything in there, okay? And yes, I will be in, first one is in January the 8th. It will be the Whole Life Coach, Wolf Non-Surgical, most powerful body work in the world. And understand something, you don't have to be a practitioner. About 30% to 40% of the people that come in the Whole Life Coach certification are not wanting to be practitioners. And guess what? Half of them end up being that because guess what? They're too scared. And then they find out that it's all been bullshit. You know, that you don't have to go to school for 8 or 10 years to know what? To be brainwashed. Understand something. Everything we teach, an 8-year-old can understand it and understand something. We are real science. We're one or two, not 11. Okay, so we'll be in Ixtapa, Mexico, then we go to Barrie, Ontario, Canada, then we go to Sacramento, California. This is our first course there because of COVID. We tried 3 times and then it got shut down, okay? But we didn't stop traveling. It's just that it was, everything got shut down in California. We don't need to go into the story. And we've rented this big mansion and it's very private and it's on a lake. Okay, come on. You know, we've got about 10 people can sleep in the place, but there's Airbnbs all around. So we're just going to have a really good time. From there, we will be going to Bonita, Florida. We're going to be in Australia for a month traveling around. I'll be doing free lectures and I'll be doing a full course in Coffs Harbour in August, but I'm also going in the springtime. I'm going to be just outside London, England, and I'll be doing a course there at a big old resort, okay? Really cool. And where else are we going to be? Well, I'll let you just find out for yourself, won't I? If you want to go to braveheartnation.com or BHN University. And for you practitioners that are getting worried that you've got these state laws, government laws, and you feel threatened, you should take a look in my, go to Braveheart Nation and take a look at the slideshow, how you can get your Indigenous doctorate so you can protect yourself from white man's law. That's right. You will get adopted by the Taino tribe, and then guess what? You will be under their jurisdiction, which means that if you are doing no harm, then no harm will come to you. So I tell you all these things because, you know, you can go to any government-approved university if you want, but guess what? That's not for me, and it's not for a lot of people because I think it's all built on BS and programming. You know, I'm not saying you don't learn anything, but the reality is that you come to us as a patient, you can go all the way and get your doctorate in natural medicine. You think about that for a second. And then you're going to go, well, who in the hell does he think he is? Well, I'm Dr. Daryl Wolf, and we're setting a new paradigm and a new platform out there and telling the whole world that they are geniuses. There's a practitioner in everyone, and everybody has a passion and purpose. And if we came together, okay, as brothers and sisters, this is over, okay? All right, so I want to thank you for joining me. I will be back on a couple more times today. I don't even know what the next show is. I'm doing all these shows because it's Black Friday, and I'm really trying to see if we can get our products out to people so they understand the quality. I do have the best products in the world, and I can say it. It's been 45 years of searching them down. We don't carry supplements, we carry nutraceuticals. Do your research and then challenge me. Don't challenge me until you've done your research, because if you do that, you're not showing that that you're worth much, okay? So don't let your subconscious block you today. Keep a slight smile on your face no matter what goes on in the world. Leave smiles wherever you go. Let's see how many people that you can leave smiles with them and get them smiling too. God bless everyone. And I mean that. Take care. Let me just wave to a couple of my friends here. All right. Have a beautiful day.